advertising, specifically social media adverts and online behavioral advertising, or OBA for short. This is an issue currently facing the creative economies, as it is reducing the funds and budgets of conventional TV programs who run on sponsored adverts. A blog post by Mark Sweeney titled "Forget Product Placement, Now Advertisers Can Buy Storylines" was posted on The Guardian in January 2018, making the public aware of what sort of underlying effects this may expel for the television industry. Firstly, what is online behavioral or storyline advertising? This new way of marketing is an operation which allows online advertisers to display target adverts to their consumers based on their browsing and internet activity. For example, what consumers share on social websites, what they search on internet search engines, for example Google, and can even extend to their location. It is a direct way to get to their consumers individually for the cause of a higher turnout rate. This can lead to higher rates of sales and public awareness. According to a source, online advertising accounts for almost 9% of all advertising in the United States. This share is expected to increase as more media is consumed over the internet and as more advertisers shift spending to online technologies. With this in mind, when taking into consideration other advertising branches such as billboards, TV, celebrity endorsement and product placement, the internet advertising hosts a considerable margin for overall advertising. As this is a growing outlet, this could have negative ramifications towards television companies. These ramifications include programming companies such as ITV and Channel 4 suffering financially as a result of advertisers shifting from conventional TV to social media advertising. These benefits for the advertiser vary from their adverts being more direct and accurate to the type of consumer to their budget. According to a source, social media marketing is far less expensive. You'll pay a fraction of the traditional media price to reach the same amount of people. And with these attributes to online advertising which subjugate that of conventional TV, it is hard to believe that there are companies that won't suffer from this advertising medium shift. In addition, there are other types of ramifications that can occur from this effect, such as depreciation of program quality as a result of budget cuts. The variety of shows and programs may also decrease to survive. Shows which mark the program's exclusivity, for example ITV with Emmerdale, may be forced to increase product placement in television shows to compensate for the budget loss. ITV's beloved Coronation Street have already been hit with a backlash as stars in the show anger over the fact that they are having to work with higher rates of product placement, which, although not stated, may be to do with lower earnings for the company. Carl Reed, who works for The Sun, posted an article explaining the backlash, stating, "An ITV spokeswoman said, 'We've been including product placement in both Coronation Street and Emmerdale for a number of years and have always worked closely with the production team to ensure that any product is editorially justified and a natural fit within the action.'" Product placement, along with the sponsorship and advertising, all goes to pay for great ITV programs such as Coronation Street. Although this is true, it cannot be a coincidence that ITV implement more product placement at roughly the same time as internet advertising raises in productivity. Judging by this, we could easily begin to establish that social media advertising is beginning to take an effect. To get another opinion, I had a discussion with a fellow freelance operative working within the TV industry, Cleo Paul, who has completed material for the ITV and Channel 4 program. A topic that I've chosen, and it's a current issue facing the creative economies. Basically what it is online advertising, specifically social media advertising, and what sort of effects it would have on conventional TV. But first off, I just want to ask you what your history in the creative industry is like. What is your sort of...
Well, I studied television production at Middlesex University, for 3 years, undergraduate course, and I finished there with a 2-1. So, having studied it, and I also studied it in college, so studied for about 7 years. So, finishing uni and achieving a 2-1, which is, quite good. I was quite impressed with. I then went on to go and, just sent out my CV and I emailed people, and, just so I could kind of find my feet in the industry. So now what I do is I just go around freelance, and but I don't limit myself to one job role. For instance, one day I might be editing, the next day I might be producing, researching, So due to confidentiality, you're not really allowed to talk about like the contents of the program. But I can tell you that I have done programs within the BBC and within Channel 4.
Okay, that's really good. What is your opinion on traditional TV advertising?
I mean, traditional TV advertising, I've grown up seeing it all my life, but like these days now, as times have changed, I don't think that it's really anything special, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because, you've got phones, you've got internet and stuff, and internet plays a big role in how news is put out there.
Do you also think TV could survive without advertising?
I think TV is struggling to survive as it is, to be honest. Like traditional watching TV on TV as it's actually on. I think that's struggling to survive anyway, so I don't really think there's much hope for TV adverts, obviously, because as I said before, there's a lot of social media. Like these days when you go to find out what's going on the news, all you have to do is go on Facebook, or you just go on it's everywhere. You go on your Discovery page on Snapchat and then you'll see news.
Yeah, I'm sort of focused on is places like ITV and Channel 4, where most of their income probably comes from advertising. What would happen?
Well, I mean, that's concerning, because as well as like, speaking of TV adverts, you've also got stuff like newspapers, bus advertisements when you're on the side of the bus, when you're at the bus stop, and all those kind of things. So it's but then having said that, television advertising is so classic.
Yeah,
I couldn't really see the TV without adverts.
It's true. There is that sense of authenticity when you see an advert. It's like, okay, I've seen the advert on TV. I know it's real.
Yeah.
So I guess that, speaking from that point of view, I guess that in terms of advertising on social media, people are less inclined to buying things online. Just because they're aware of the amount of finishing websites and the amount of scams that are online.
Yeah, there are a lot of scams.
Yeah, but with TV, there's that sense of safe, sort of authenticity that people might stick to. And that might be the only sense where that might be the only sort of viable reason that advertisers will stick to TV. But personally, for me, I think eventually advertising may stop.
Yeah, I believe so as well. I honestly do, because in this technology is growing so fast. It's not really. I don't really see businesses and companies really wanting to pay money to have their advert on television when they could just do it on the internet.
It's more to do with the fact that ITV are now implementing more product placement, but could this be because of, the shortage of budgets now,
Possibly.
That's the only thing.
Well, they need to get their sponsors from somewhere, so, if they did put like Tesco's orange juice in a scene, Tesco's would then pay them for that. So then I suppose thinking about it like that, product placement would be the way to go from conventional TV adverts.
But is it enough though? That's the thing.
The use of social media and internet marketing is an ever-growing branch on the tree of advertising, offering a huge range of possibilities which can benefit the advertisers. Having this much of a leverage hosts a greater chance of understanding viewer interest. Policy documents on Facebook clearly state that they share and collect information such as your age, gender, liked and shared posts you're interested in, searches off and on Facebook, and email addresses. Having an opportunity like this is a close equivalent to having a cheap book to a game. In conclusion to this, it is agreed by both Cleo and I that this advance in advertising technology creates an unfavourable future for that of conventional television.